In today's video, we're going to take apart these old Puller 400s that got shipped in and rebuilt, and we kept the old housings because I kind of like the old housings. Okay, so the real reason why we have these old housings is because they're a huge pain in the butt to rebuild. So when these old classic housings come in, we rebuild with new housings. A lot of times we'll ask first. Well, pretty much all the times. We ask first, but we exchange out because they're just such a hassle to rebuild. These are special to me though, because I made these myself on a machine that I don't have any longer. Mazak 250 MSY, engine lathe, production lathe, whatever you want to call it. It had a bunch of live tooling and all sorts of fancy sub-spindle, automated sub-spindle parts catcher. So it would just pump these parts out and spit them out. And I can harken back to all the machining processes that I did on this 3/8 inch end mill for these little cuts right here. The lightning cuts was with a 3/8 inch end mill. Then we had, you know, the threading and the tapping, the 6th position on there. And then the way that these assemble, easiest to just show you. I think this is the right size. We will find out. This actually isn't the first version, but it's an early version. The way that these assemble, there's actually a screw that runs the full length of the can, which is great. It works very well. So you can just loosen those screws, and then this has a slot in the end there, as you can maybe see, and that slot allows you to adjust the timing. On the original ones, I did 3 drill holes, and then it turned out that the armatures would have just enough just enough variance to them that those 3 holes didn't quite cut it. So I learned how to make these a little different. I had to be crafty with the machine because we only had so many spots to hold tools. So we'll just loosen this all the way. We'll take it apart. So on this particular one, the screws go all the way through the motor. Is that enough? That should be enough. Oh, threaded extras. Threaded forever and ever. Oh, I see. The top of it is just hold. It's not actually threaded. All right, there we go. Yeah. So you can see these long screws all the way through. And that's a huge pain in the butt to assemble. You can imagine you stick these through and you're trying to like fish it into the faceplate that's down there. And the faceplate is actually a separate part of the can. So I may be able to just part this off like that. Some of them are really, really tight. What can I use to push it? Pushed it. Push it real good. Here we go. So, in the original design, and it's kind of in this design now that we're currently using, the flux, the back iron is its own piece. The magnets get embedded into that. And then on this one, we have this little top ring, and that top ring is to locate the magnets. So it's a self-jigging thing, and also to help you align the screws as you put them in. Then we have the faceplate with the threaded holes, 2 little threaded holes. Originally it was 256 because I was actually making them in-house from spokes. 256 is the same as what 14 gauge spokes actually. So, you know, before I had figured everything out, that's what we were doing. But threads in through the face. We got the magnets bonded in there to this can, and then boom, there's our end bell, which this design has actually not changed for the end bell, but the can and the housing I've definitely changed to where this faceplate piece actually extends up all the way through the motor. It's both the self-jigging portion for the magnets and also is threaded where it comes into the top right here. So it's kind of like a one-piece sort of thing. Works out really good for both manufacturing and assembly. So yeah, kind of an old design. It's a hassle, honestly. It's a really big hassle, but we learned as we went along. This is really similar to how the old Astroflight motors would go together. So, you know, I took cues from that and then learned that, hey, why does nobody else do this for assembling their motors. Oh, because it sucks. So let's just see how easy it is. And you can imagine if there was an armature involved, it'd be even more difficult. But let's see if I can try to get it in there and hit the holes. Oh, maybe. Yeah, if there was an armature in there and this end bell fell off like that, it would have kicked out because the magnets and the armature and the forces of all of that. Just not easy. Oh, getting lucky on this though. And a lot of it is that little aluminum plate on top. That really helped align. Before that aluminum plate on top was added, you put it in, and even though they're stainless, the attraction force is so strong on these magnets that it'd pull your magnet back and forth. It was like tick, 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 and you could never get it to go into the threaded portion. This feels like a 2011 T4 or T3 aluminum, a little softer. It was like 6061, but a little soft. Yeah, just a kind of a trip down memory lane there. And as you can see, these were used in a comp rig. They got a lot of scrapings on them. And this, I don't remember if this was our in-house coating or if I was sending these out. We've got a better coating now as well. And just generally, you know, you try to make things better as you go along. You use better manufacturers or better manufacturing techniques, better designs, etc., etc. So now we've got a nice, like a varnish hard coat on the outside instead of doing what this was. This was black oxide, which works fine, but when you get it wet, a lot of times it'll convert back into a regular rust instead of a black oxide. So yeah, what we've got now is a lot more resilient. And instead of regular nickel-plated magnets, we use gold-plated magnets too. So yeah, there we go. A little blast from the past. These are the Puller 400s, just an old design that I made myself, and now we have moved on. So there you go. If you got any questions about them, leave them down below. As always, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. You've made it to the end of the video. Hopefully that means you liked what you saw. If you want to help out the channel, you can like, subscribe, and definitely comment down below. We would like to hear new ideas from you, so be sure you let us know what you'd like to see. There are some other suggestions probably floating by my head right now that you can check out, and otherwise we appreciate your support and your help growing the channel.